Well, hey, y'all, and welcome to the Everyday Truths podcast, where we make faith real and relevant so we can live it out in our everyday lives. My name is Sherri. I am the host of the Everyday Truths podcast, and today we are continuing on with our Letters to Me series of episodes, where folks are coming on, sharing their stories, and writing a letter to a younger version of themselves. And even though these letters are written to the individual on the episode, each of these letters is really a letter to us. These stories are transformative and can touch each and every one of our lives. And today's episode is no different. I am joined by Tiffany Crawford, and we are going to be digging into fatherlessness, identity, and just the transformative power of what God can do in each and every one of our lives. I am confident this episode is going to be a blessing to everyone who hears it. And so let's get into it. Alrighty, you ready?
Ready, baby.
As you'll ever be.
I was born ready, baby.
Born ready. All right. Well, hey there, Tiff.
Hey there, Sherri.
I'm so glad you're back.
I know, me too.
It's been good. So your episode, you were on season 1. We talked about just like right and wrong.
Yeah, because we know.
I know, right? Like
We
the
know.
moral compass.
We are the
But
moral compass.
that was one of my favorite episodes from season 1 was
Yeah.
because it's just like when you come into faith, and we were talking about uncomplicating faith, just like the baseline of like right and wrong. Like, right, that's always the question is like,
Right.
hey, is this thing okay?
Right.
That was such a great conversation.
It was.
And so excited that you're back for
Me too.
Letters to Me.
Studio looks great.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so excited.
It's
Yeah.
been fun. It's been a journey for sure. Lots of learning and all those things. And, you know, of course, you've been just such a great advocate and helper and cheerleader and all the things. And so
Absolutely.
I'm just all the grateful for you. And so today we're jumping in to just different topic. We're going to be talking about you and your story, and you've written a letter to a younger version of yourself. And so we're going to jump into that. But, you know, I hate like awkward get to know you questions.
Here we go.
Here we go. So I like to play, we start every episode with a game. Your game was, I think, my favorite from last season.
What did we do? Oh, we did Taylor Swift's or Lamentations.
Taylor Swift or Lamentations. You had to guess if it was a Taylor Swift lyric or if it was a verse from Lamentations. And so today, actually, I'm having everyone play the same game this season, but just like nobody knows, I'm just tailoring it to each of them, right? Because you
Okay.
record and then everything comes out. And so,
Right.
yeah. And so we are going to just be playing really simple. Would you rather?
Okay.
That's it. Would you rather?
Okay.
And kind of tailored it towards you. And so we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
I don't know that you are. All right. Let's start right here.
All right.
Would you rather relive middle school for a month
Oh my gosh.
or let one of your kids read your high school journal out loud at the family dinner table?
Oh, read my high school journal out loud at the family dinner table.
Dude, just like you're just such an open person, and you would have so much fun laughing at the angsty teenage self. That,
I will
like,
not go back to middle school. Absolutely not.
no,
That's
like,
horrific.
I know.
No.
Well, what's so funny is I look at my kids and their day and things like that, and they're still in elementary school, but I'm like, the idea of somebody like dictating like every moment of your day, like the claustrophobia, like is just like, and I get it, a lot of people in just like normal jobs, that's what you're doing that as
Right,
well.
right,
And it's a
right.
little bit normal jobs. We have abnormal jobs.
Yes.
But there is some of that, but like in school, even more so, like, just like, I don't like it.
Can I speak? Can I use the restroom? Can I walk down the hall? Can I turn in my homework?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? No, middle school, I think now, you know, you don't know it when you're in it.
Yeah.
But middle school, that is that's such an awkward age. It is such a terrible, awkward age. And you don't really fit. Like, you're not a kid, but you're not
And it
a
is where do
teenager.
I fit in the world?
Yeah, and it's just so terrible. I would never go back to middle school.
Okay.
Ugh,
Yeah.
no. But thanks for asking.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. I'd rather go back to middle school than high school. I don't know. I take it back. Would you rather send a risky text to the wrong group chat or have your Spotify recently played list posted on a church slide somewhere? Maybe a church you were at that day.
Oh, that wouldn't bother me.
See,
It would
right?
just be like, yeah, that wouldn't bother me.
Be like, well,
yeah.
I get down. Whatever.
Like I know how to have a good time, no problem.
All right.
Yeah.
Would you rather go back to the parenting stage of like raising toddlers or get a face tattoo that says YOLO in Comic Sans?
The way your mind works is amazing. I just want to say that because Comic Sans is like where I drew the line on the face tattoo. Like, as soon as you said Comic Sans, I was like, yeah, no, I would raise toddlers all over again.
Yeah.
I would. I wish I had a chance to do it all over again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, toddlers are cute. Okay, here we go. This will hit very close to home.
Okay.
All right. Would you rather be in a long distance marriage or live with your husband in a 1-bedroom with 0 alone time?
Okay, so those are both my options right now. Like,
Yes.
literally my
Yes.
options. Literally my options. I would rather live with him in a 1-bedroom because we've been away from each other for like 18 months now. It's not cute anymore.
It's not.
I think if you would have asked me that like 9 months ago, I would have been like, oh, long distance is great. Or 6 months ago, even whatever. Long distance is great. But yeah, we're over it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're over it. You know, before it was like, my husband lives in Miami, and so he works there. He went to take a job there, and it just hasn't worked out like we thought to where he could get back to San Antonio quicker. And so he, you know, at first it was like, oh, I live in the suburbs of San Antonio and in downtown Miami, and I'm a jet setter, and I go from here to there, and we just go back and forth. Now,
Over it.
Like when we have to buy one more plane ticket, when we have to pay 2 mortgages on the first of the month. It's like,
no, over it big time.
Over it
big time.
Over it.
All right. Would you rather?
Oh, there's more.
Oh, well, I have to be, because I edit some and I don't some. And so I got to,
keep going. No, keep going. I'm good.
Let's go.
I'm good.
Would you rather, I'm going to make some assumptions here. Would you rather rewatch every season of Grey's Anatomy or explain Lost to someone who's never seen it without getting confused?
I would rather rewatch Grey's Anatomy 1,000%.
100%.
Yeah, you too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you up to date on Grey's
I'm
Anatomy?
not.
Right? Like I was up to date as of like a few years ago, and I'm like, it's just too much.
Yes.
It's too much.
Yes. And I'm fairly new to it.
Yeah.
I'm a new.
No. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I definitely have an associate's in neurosurgery. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. I play a doctor on TV.
Yes.
You watching TV?
Yes.
Yep.
If there was any major trauma that happened in San Antonio, I could go to the hospital and be useful.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
just make stuff up. Bring the dingle hopper. Step. All right. Would you rather always run into someone you know at Target, or have your phone autocorrect every there, and there incorrectly?
Oh, that one's tough for me.
Right?
Yeah, because I'm when texting first came out, I hated it so much because it didn't have autocorrect when it first came out, and I had to make sure all my sentences were proper.
Yeah,
and,
like T9
yes,
style, or before T9.
Yes, before. Like I had to make sure, and so I hated texting. But I can be a person, not that I don't love you, but I will be a person at Target that if I just don't feel like talking to you and I see you coming this way, I might go that way.
Yeah.
It's nothing personal. It's just like me where I'm at in my moment. So I'm going to say I'd rather run into somebody at Target.
Yeah. So I downplay grammar in my text so I don't get made fun of, first of all. We won't get into the psychology of that. But second, I'm so introverted that it's like I have to very much like, masking is too strong of a word, but we're going to go with it. Like to extrovert, it's very like.
You have to turn something on.
Yes. And so if I run into you at Target, I don't know how to human.
Yeah.
Like I'm like Ricky Bobby. Like I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah. You're like, hi. Looking around. Hi.
I know it's sure. Yes, I would remember.
I think what's worse is when you run into people, but you don't remember how you know them. I'll have people come up to me and be like, hi, it's so good to see you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And nothing personal, but I just can't place you for whatever reason.
I have such like cognitive dissonance when it comes to that. Wes like makes fun of me so much because when I worked for a church and I would speak in front of a lot of people, I spoke just different places. And I'd run into somebody and they'd know me. And I'm like, I have no idea where I know that person from. And Wes is like, Sherri, you talk in front of people all the time. And it's like, it gave me this cognitive dissonance because it's like in front of people, it's like, fine, I'm doing a thing. But it's like, I don't like assume you know me.
Right. They know you, but you don't know them.
Yeah. And it's just like, I'm like, I don't understand. Or when somebody would come up and like, oh, that thing you said. I'm like, why are you in my business?
Right.
Like I didn't just say it in front of all these people. For whatever reason, it's like I'd like dissociate. I don't know. All right. We're going to do semi-Gen X.
Yeah.
Because you're right, those borderline. You're like the Zennial. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to do Gen X lightning round.
Lightning round.
Lightning round. You just
I'm
got to
going
go.
to be terrible at this. I just want you to know.
Aim, away message, or Instagram story.
Say that again.
Aim, away message, or Instagram story.
Oh, Instagram story.
Mixtape or playlist.
Mixtape.
Bennifer or Brangelina.
Ooh, Bennifer.
Yeah. Oh, big time. Lisa Frank folder or Hello Kitty pencil case.
Lisa Frank.
VHS rewind fee or Netflix autoplay.
Netflix autoplay.
TRL or TikTok for you page.
TikTok for you.
Calling collect or texting with T9.
Oh, call and collect. I forgot about that.
Right?
You only do that from prison now.
It's a Bob. It's a baby. It's a we had a baby. It's a boy. What was that commercial? Right. All right. Clueless or 10 Things I Hate About You.
Clueless.
Scrunchy or butterfly clip.
Scrunchy.
Blockbuster Friday or brunch Saturday.
Blockbuster Friday.
Blockbuster Friday. I loved going.
Oh my gosh, it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I feel sorry for the people who don't get to experience that.
Right. And it's an event. Wes and I were talking, it was like movie night, like in our families, like it was like a thing. Whereas now you can just stream something so easily, or it's like a Saturday afternoon. The kids are like, can we watch such and such movie? Whereas before it was like, you really, like it was a thing. You had to get together. You had to rent the movie. You had to do these things.
And if it was a new release, you had to make sure you got to Blockbuster early because it would be rented out. And then everybody at school would be like, we got to watch, you know.
Yeah. I was trying to explain to the kids. I'm like, no, the movie would be there. And then you had to go like behind the movie to get like the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You had to go behind the box.
Yeah. And I was trying to explain it. And we've also just explaining that like shows used to like just be on and you were stuck watching what you were watching.
Yeah, you didn't have a choice.
Nope, that was it. It just blows their mind.
I know.
It's like watching live sports, like they kind of get, but like, I don't know. All right, well, there you go. Now we know some things about you.
I know.
And
you know, I'm a cool mom.
I'm a cool mom. Not a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. One of my favorite movie quotes of all time.
I know, mine too. I use it on the regular.
I love that. Why do you want some? Because I'd rather you do it in the house. All right. So here we go. So we've met, we know some about you. We learned that, you know, some of your preferences. Yeah. But let's just like get to know you like today, because we're going to rewind in a minute. Sure. And so what does life look like for you just like right now?
Okay. So right now I, like I mentioned before, my husband is in Miami and he's working there. I'm here in San Antonio working and living and occupying our house. We have 5 kids together, yours, mine, and ours, and 2 grandkids. All 3 of our daughters are married and live all over, like 2 in Florida, 1 in Fort Worth. And then the boys, I have 2 boys, grown boys. They're not boys, men that live here in San Antonio. So I'm kind of empty nesting. The boys are in and out of the house and, you know, whatever. But for the most part, I'm on my own. Yeah. Which is pretty interesting because I've never been on my own. My first marriage was very young, and then I had kids, and then I got married to Michael. So I've never really had time to not be responsible for other people. Yeah. So it's been pretty interesting in the last 18 months or so.
Well, just having kids, it's like you don't get to go to the bathroom by yourself for the first way too many years of their lives. Way too many years of their lives. Oh. I always saw it was like a TikTok trend where it was like people like reenacting like interactions with their mom, and it would be them like they couldn't open a jar, so it's them like walking into the bathroom with their eyes closed, like handing can you things open to their mom or whatever. And so my kids are pretty, I don't know, I'm like, go away. Yeah. Get my 1 minute.
My kids have always been pretty self-sufficient in a lot of ways. So I don't know. I guess now looking back, I'm like, oh, I wish I had the days of the little fingers under the door saying, Mommy, where are you? You know, as I'm in there crying. Like,
I like how you're an ancestor. I'm crying. Or just like eating a snack. They like hear the crinkle. They're like,
Mom, do you have candy in there? Absolutely not.
I would never. There is no candy before.
There's no candy ever. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my life now. So I'm just
Yeah.
kind of I'm just in a different place, you know, a new place that I've never been
Yeah.
before. And I think we forget that as we're younger, like your age even, and like younger, like you forget that there's going to be different seasons and different opportunities for you to discover new things about yourself.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. I've really liked it.
And identity is such an interesting topic because it's like people think about maybe going to that college age kind of thing where it's like you're transitioning from being in your parents' home to like doing life by yourself. Or maybe you think of like, it's like you think about these big identity jumps, but really they happen in any like all of these transitions. It's like, wait, who am I when my kids aren't home? Who am I when, even for me, I really struggled with like the transition from like, oh, I don't have toddlers.
I know.
And it was weird because I'm like, I have toddlers. And all of a sudden one day I'm like, oh, I don't have toddlers. And I don't know why that like.
It was impactful for you to
just
recognize that was done. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's always those interesting identity pieces. And so it always just reminds me of how important it is for us to have such a significant identity and understanding who we are.
Yes.
Or at least let's say who God says we are, because we're going to always be discovering, because otherwise you're going to get rocked.
You are. In fact, I said that to you the other day. I said, I wish I could tell all the moms, don't give your entire lives to your children.
Yes.
Because someday they grow up and they go away and they don't call you for 2 days.
Yes.
Like it's funny, it's comical, right? But there's a truth in that, you know, they grow up, they make their own choices, they go their own places, they, you know, make their own mistakes, and you're not always a part of the equation.
Yeah.
Actively. Like, I think you're always there, and they know, like my kids know that I'm always there for them, but it's like, oh, I'm raising strong, independent kids. And then when they're strong and independent, it's like, why don't you need me?
What? It's like My Big Fat Greek Wedding, one of my favorite movies. Why you want to leave me?
Yes. Yeah. I tell Alyssa, my daughter, in Fort Worth all the time, I'm like, just divorce your husband and move home and live with me. Like,
that's just great mom advice. Like, have you won any awards lately?
Yes, actually I have.
Oh,
No,
nice. Just like to thank the Academy.
Yes.
And so I love, you know, as you're talking about like kids and things, like, you know, it's like your kids, we're going to jump back to kind of your childhood and your thing. And so we'll go back there in a second. I do want to ask just one more question.
Yeah.
Because I think this matters, and I think we need to ask each other questions like this more often, but it's, what are you most proud of in this season of life?
I think I would probably have to say that I'm the most proud of my resilience, because I never considered myself a resilient person. I felt like growing up, everything was catastrophized, you know, everything was like, and I think that's part of like being a teenager. That's part of being, you know, being a middle schooler. Like, everything is like the end of the world, right? Like, if this doesn't resolve, it's never going to get better. Yeah. And now that I am where I'm at in my season of life, but also my age, I can look back and be like, oh wow, I got through some really difficult moments. Yeah. Like, I got through some super tough stuff. And I remember, gosh, this was years ago. This literally just popped into my head. I remember talking to somebody about something that I had gone through, and she was like, how did you survive? And I was just like, I don't know. Like, besides God, like I don't know. Humanly, I don't have an answer for that. Yes. Right? There's no, besides supernatural intervention, like from Jesus himself, like there's no answer to how I did it. But I know that that's something that God created in me. And so I can look back at my life and be like, wow, like I went through some stuff, man. Wow. I went through some stuff.
Yeah. So we were talking about this several months ago. We were on a hike together. And I remember where we were, and we were kind of having a conversation about how on a hike, your feet, you're always looking, it's like, don't roll your ankle, don't roll. It's all like preventative work. And then we came on like what looked like bear tracks, but it's anyway.
It wasn't, by the way.
It wasn't, but like for like a few minutes, it was like, wait,
is there a bear?
Is there a...
As we're looking in the woods.
Do I need to be afraid right now? Anyway, no, I mean, like it looked like, I mean,
You weren't afraid. We were afraid. You weren't afraid. You're like, let me take pictures and let me do this. And if we had a bear, this would be so cool. And we're all, Sherri, you think we should be hanging out right now if there's bear tracks?
I would totally die first in a horror film because I'd be like, what's the sound?
Yes.
And like, I'd go 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
we made it. We're alive.
We're alive. Most of us. So it's, it's like you're looking down.
Yeah.
You're trying not to roll your ankle. You're trying not to step on anything. And it's like, it's not until you stop and you look around that you can even recognize how far you've come. But this works the other way. It's like, imagine when we're not in good places and we're same thing. We're focused on our feet. We're focused. And then we look around and we find ourselves in a terrible spot.
Yeah.
And so it is the question, how did you survive? It's like one step at a time.
Yeah.
One misstep or one avoiding and your gaze is on the immediate and not up, especially when you're surviving. And so
I think it's interesting because the world, our culture rather, tells us like, have a vision, have your purpose.
My vision board
every year, like look out ahead, like all of these things, right? But life is really more, what is your next step? What is your next step?
Oh yeah.
What is your next step?
Yeah.
The culture wants you to look at big vision stuff because that's how they sell you, the BMW or whatever,
everything.
Right?
Summer bod.
Yes. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's, I think that there's more truth in the one step in front of the other.
Yeah. And it's good. Yeah. There's always extremes, but there's because there can be that driving force of, I want to be there.
Sure.
But it's all incremental steps. But then it's like, if your gaze is too far up, then you're also going, look what I don't have.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's an interesting balance.
Yeah.
And so can you just share with us, like, who are you writing to? Because you're writing a letter to a younger version of yourself. That's what this season of the podcast is all about. And so walk us through the version of Tiffany that you're writing to. And I'll say this, most folks have been like, it's been a very specific moment. You've opted to do something a little bit different. So tell us about that.
Yeah, the struggle that I've had has been a lifelong struggle.
Yeah.
And so it's something that has been intertwined throughout so many aspects and areas of my life, so many relationships, so many choices, so many opportunities that I could have taken that I didn't, so I chose to write my letter to all of me at the age of 5, 9, 17, 19, 29, because I felt like there wasn't a specific moment that I had this tragedy. I kind of had this tragedy within for my entire life.
Yeah.
And so it didn't make sense to me to say, hey, in this moment, Tiffany, you were okay, because I had so many of those moments that I needed to know that. Yeah.
And I think that, and what's interesting is these will come out of order but you're actually you're going to interview me.
I am.
For my letter, and mine's actually really similar because I think some of us notice trends. You and I are both kind of more pattern oriented, and but some people's stories really are, this is the moment. This is where I found sobriety. This is when this person passed away, when this event happened, when I made this choice. But I think we need both sides understanding that sometimes it is a moment, but then also taking that step back and having, I'm not going to call us mature because we're not, but having the maturity, like to really think and make that statement, like I'm doing that thing I do when, and learning to see those trends. And so I love the choice that you're making here.
Thank you.
So looking back, let's go back to like the furthest version really quick, and let's look at what you were navigating in kind of in life. Let's just, in the versions of you that you're writing to, let's walk through what it is that you were navigating, what it was that you were surviving and experiencing.
Sure.
That you need these, like, where you could have used the words and the encouragement that you're going to share with yourself.
Yeah. So I grew up without a relationship with my dad.
Yeah.
And that's, I know that's a lot of people's stories. And my parents were married very young. I have an older brother who has the same dad, and I have a younger brother who has a different dad.
Yeah.
But my older brother and I obviously came from my parents, and but my mom and my dad separated when she was pregnant with me. Okay. So my brother was like 2. She was pregnant with me. They separated. They lived in Colorado at the time. She moved back here to San Antonio to live with my grandparents. And I didn't meet my dad for the first time until I was like 3 or 4.
Wow.
And even then it was like, I can recall that memory. Even then it was like, he just stopped by.
All casual.
All
like
casual.
I was in the area.
I was in the area. I thought I'd see if what my daughter looked like. Right. So, so super interesting. So, and then after that, I think I saw him maybe 2 times after my mom just berating him and like, you need to see your kids, you need to see your kids, you need to see your kids. And so I grew up with my mom. She was a single mom. She was a hard worker. She worked at an insurance company. She worked her way up, eventually became like a vice president, like super powerful, strong woman, right? But that wasn't enough for me. I did not understand. I did not understand this idea that I had this dad. I didn't understand what that even to this day, I don't understand when somebody says dad this or dad that I have no feelings attached to that. That does not conjure up anything in me because it's just such a foreign idea. And so it was just a lot of questioning and not understanding, personal rejection, abandonment. And that was just before I was 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then hearing people talk about your dad this or your dad that. But I just didn't understand. I just didn't understand.
What was your brother's relationship with your dad like?
So my brother had 2 years with my dad, right? Yeah. He had the first 2 formative years of his life with my dad. And so he had a different longing, I think, for him. And he didn't have a real relationship with my dad. So one of the points of contention between my parents was that my dad would send my brother presents, but he wouldn't send me presents. He would send my brother cards for his birthday, but he wouldn't send me cards for my birthday. And so he just refused to acknowledge me. And so I know that was like a huge issue in their relationship because my mom's like, well, you have a daughter too. You can't just send stuff to him. You have to send stuff to her. And so it was when we were later in life, when my brother was about 16, 17, maybe a little older, he chose to go find him. Yeah. And they reignited their relationship. And it was on again, off again throughout the years up until probably the last 10 years or so. But I was not a part of that. And I was not included in that. And I know that at one time he was like, hey, tell your sister I'd like to meet her. And I was 13 and I was angsty. And I was like, what do I want to meet you for?
I'm really focused on my art right now.
I'm just going to spend the summer working on my music. Anyway, so yeah, it was like one of these things where I was like, what do I need him for? Like, I haven't had him for 13 years and now he wants to come back in my life. And he took that and ran with it. Like that was like,
like, hey, Tiff, this was your choice.
Yes.
Like, I did not do this to you. This is your choice. This is on me. You can't hold any of this against me.
Yes.
Oh, dang,
that's
girl.
exactly what he did. So even as an adult, when there was 2 conversations that I had with him via Facebook Messenger.
No, perfect.
As an adult. So intimate and personal.
Yeah.
So great. But he actually...
That was full sarcasm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Full sarcasm for our
sarcasm for those of you
listeners.
who don't understand our humor. But yeah, it was a very, very interesting conversations where it was, well, I tried to know you at 13 and you didn't want to have anything to do with me. Okay, you're the parent, Yeah. I asked him about his relationship with my brother. That was a his response to that was, my relationship with your brother is none of your business. And someday on the other side, when we're in heaven, we'll be reconciled. I'm like, but you're alive right now. Like, what is so hard about, and he would constantly say, you're not going to guilt me. You're not going to guilt me. Like, I'm not guilting you. I'm asking you questions. Like, I don't, because one of the things, and you can stop me at any time because I can just ramble for hours.
No, you're good.
Okay. But one of the things that he, that I could never understand is like, you can blame this on my mother until I'm 18, right? You can say your mom kept you from me.
Yes.
I couldn't see you because your mom was terrible, whatever his perspective was. But once I turn 18 and I'm an adult, like, what is your excuse now?
Yeah.
Right. And so anyway, it was just this constant ongoing, like, angst, always just hanging over me of, Tiffany, you're not wanted.
Yeah.
You're not wanted. You're not wanted. You're not wanted.
Yeah.
And there was a very specific moment that it hit me even harder. I was looking through some paperwork. I don't know what I was looking for, but I was looking through some of my mom's paperwork. I maybe was looking for my birth certificate or something.
Yeah.
And I found these legal documents. And I knew this had happened when my mom remarried and she had my younger brother. She did not want, because my biological, my dad did not have any relationship with us. And so she didn't want something to happen to her in childbirth and then him be able to come back and take me and my brother away.
Yeah.
And so she terminated my dad's parental rights. He had never paid child support anyway. She wasn't like losing out on anything there. He never came to see us. So she filed paperwork to terminate his parental rights. He didn't even show up to court. But my little brother's dad never adopted us.
Oh.
And so I remember sitting on the floor and looking at that and thinking, I was probably like 19, but I remember looking at that and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm fatherless.
Wow.
Like, I am legitimately fatherless. Like, there is not one man on this earth that wants to claim me as his daughter. And I just remember that hitting me like this huge wave, and exasperating that idea of being unwanted and unloved, So, so with all of that, right, I just have spent my life searching to fill that hole in my life.
Yeah.
To fill that and feeling guilty about it. Like, oh, I shouldn't need him. I have plenty of love in my life.
I have my mom.
I have my mom. I have my grandparents.
Yes.
Yeah. I have all these people who love me. I have this family. Like, I have my brothers. Like, I don't need. And I remember wrestling, like just constantly wrestling with my humanity in that. Like, oh, why should I need him? I don't need him.
Yeah.
That's stupid, Tiffany. Why do you desire to be with somebody who doesn't want it? There must be something wrong with you if you want somebody who doesn't want you.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then that self-hatred and that, so it's just, it starts here. It starts here. And then it just snowballs and just gets bigger and more complex and convoluted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so many beliefs about yourself.
Yes.
It's like it's just are being layered and layered and layered. The fact that, hey, no man on this earth wants me.
Yes.
Wants to be my dad. And just value when you're like, I can't get the birthday card, man. Like, how long does it take? Like, what's the,
Girl, I used to sit like every holiday. I remember up until probably 4th grade, 5th grade. I would have these, I call it magical thinking, like children's magical thinking.
Yeah. Which is a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It can be, right?
Yes.
But for somebody who's hurting and wants your magical thinking to manifest some untruth in your life because you're just self-protecting all the time. But I would sit and be like, oh, it's going to be my birthday. He's going to remember this year. And I remember I would literally like probably the week before, like say my birthday was on a Friday. So starting that Monday all the way until like the following Friday, I would check the mail every day. I would soon as I got off the bus, I would run and see like, did he send me a letter? Did he remember this year? Like, this is going to be the year that everything changes.
Yeah.
You know, I would lay in bed, you know, we'd put up the Christmas tree and I'd go to bed at night and be like, this year he's going to remember to send me and, you know, me and my brother a huge box of presents, like, and be like, I'm sorry, I love you. Like, I had these constant daydreams and magical, like, he's going to come and say, I want you to come live with me.
Yeah.
You know, like just all of these ideas in my head. And now I know it was because I was trying to make sense of things.
Yeah.
Because nothing made it was
Yes.
I lived in a state of confusion.
Yeah, and it's almost like in the not necessarily for your whole world, but in the situation of just your father, you know, it's like you need a father to like anchor you in that.
Yeah.
And without that, you swung like a pendulum from like this, what did you call it? Like childhood, like dream. What did you?
Yeah, like magical thinking.
Magical thinking over to like catastrophizing.
Yes.
And you didn't have that anchor. And
Nope.
so this pendulum just like swung, and it just like fed this confusion.
Yeah.
And as it swings, you don't know where you fall in it.
No, I had no idea.
And it's, yeah.
So I'm just constantly grasping.
Yeah.
Grasping for some sense of reality, grasping for some sense of feeling like I belonged.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's now it's so amazing to look back at that, not understanding at the time, not understanding just in general how important a dad is in a family.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought that this was how it was, right? That you just didn't have your dad, or, you know, I'd have friends that went to see their dad on the weekend because they were in divorce situations. Like, blew my mind. Had no idea. Like, I was like, wow.
That seemed like this ideal to you.
That was ideal.
Wow.
Seeing my dad every other weekend was like the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a statement, and it's always stuck with me. It's that suffering is scalable. And so for someone, what may just seem like the most like devastating thing ever may look like somebody's ideal in some ways. It doesn't mean that any individual isn't suffering in that. It's just, it's crazy. Also just the resilience of like the human, you know. But it's just so interesting. And so when you've talked a lot about like, you knew something was off, like you knew it was off. Like, talk about like, was there a moment where you were like, I don't even know, like this isn't the right way to say this.
Sure.
But it's like a bottom of like, all right, this sucks, but I got to figure it out. Like the moment that it was just like, I'm never going to have the ideal. And so what is my life going to look like as I'm not going to just let this just be my story? Like what was like the turning point for you? Because a lot of people's stories are like, and then we reconciled and this was the turning point.
Yeah,
so,
no.
But you didn't have that opportunity.
I didn't.
You couldn't. And so you had to reconcile by yourself.
I did.
And so what did that look like?
Well, I think so. My first stab at reconciling that was to find a savior on this earth, right? I needed the knight on the white horse to come and rescue me, just like in all the rom-coms, and you know.
No, your dad wasn't physically there, and so who can fill this physical gap?
Yeah, I needed that, and so I made a lot of poor choices. I was married very young.
How old were you? I was just curious when you got married the first time.
Oh, okay. So I got pregnant with Alyssa when I was 19, and then we were going to get married, and then I got pregnant again. So I got married at 23.
Yeah.
Divorced at 24. Then I was a single mom, you know, for a couple of years, and then I met my now husband.
Okay.
Yeah. So and him and I have been married for 22 years.
Yeah.
So but I was always looking. I was always searching for that person, like who, I mean, I even remember that in like, we were talking about middle school a lot today.
Yeah.
But I remember that about that in middle school even. It was like, you know, I was boy crazy.
You were the girl that always had the boyfriend?
Always wanted the boyfriend.
Always wanted the boyfriend?
Yeah.
But I feel like you were the girl with like all the guy friends.
I was the girl with all the guy friends in high school specifically.
Yeah, and some of that's like personality, but maybe some of that is even like is just like wanting to be seen.
Yes. Wanting to be seen and wanting to understand.
Be accepted, right? It's
Yes.
because like the girl that hangs out with all the guys, it's like, oh no, that's Tiff. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, she's one of us.
That's normal.
Oh yeah. Like
Yeah.
one of us. And so and so I can see where that acceptance would come from when you're in quotes one of the guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also just that male affirmation. And
Yeah. And just needing this idea of not being able to understand how men work.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I was not around men like that. Like, I had a grandfather, he was fantastic, but he had a quiet love.
Yeah.
You know,
real still love.
and just steady. And like, he was a quiet man. Like, he just put his head down and he worked, but he was steadfast. Like, if he helped my mom tons. Like, he would pick me up. I remember I was in counseling when I was like 16, and he came and he had to show for me.
Yeah.
And because my mom was in work, and I remember I came out and he could tell I'd been crying. And he just reached over and he just patted my leg.
Oh, sweet man.
And then he took me to the corner store and like handed me money and was like, go buy you some candy. Like,
but like,
go feed your feelings, right?
Right? I remember my dad putting like a cupcake outside of my sister's door and then like running, like practically, because sorry, Allie, telling your business, because she's like a little cranky, like,
feed her sugar, she'll be fine.
Give her a quick, do that.
Give the bear what she needs.
I know, right?
So, that was his way, right? That was his way of showing his love, because he didn't have the words to put. And he grew up in a different time. He was born in 1925. Like, it was just a different time.
But that's just like humans, right? It's
right.
It's like our modern idea is like love languages.
Yes.
And like, yes, we bob, we weave, you didn't have the opportunity to bob or weave.
No.
Like, you're bobbing and weaving by yourself, like pinging off everything.
Yes. And I didn't know. So yes, I had the male friends. I was that person who, and that is kind of something that helped me to be seen, because it made me different, right? So I have always called myself rebellious, but it's like, no, I felt like I had to be different so that way I could be seen.
Yeah.
Right? Because I felt my whole life I was like unseen, unheard, unacknowledged, outright rejected.
Yeah.
But it manifested in that thought within myself of, nobody sees you.
Wow.
You're not important. Nobody sees you. Right. And so that's what I tried to do. And to be honest with you, I do not feel like anything with him was reconciled until he died.
Wow.
He died about 6 years ago in a motorcycle accident.
Oh my goodness.
And I remember I cried.
Yeah.
My older brother called me and told me. I remember crying, but I wasn't crying for him.
Yeah.
I was crying for me.
Yeah.
I was grieving what I lost. And then after that, I've had such peace since then.
Wow.
Because it hasn't been hanging over my head.
Yeah.
It's almost like God was like, it's over, Tiffany. You don't have to worry about this anymore.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and this is so funny, because when I was writing all of this,
because everybody kind of does prep to tell their story.
Yeah. We've been prepping and like, digging through, and Holy Spirit guide me, right? Like all of these things. And all that I went through, I never wished him dead.
That's interesting.
I never, ever.
Not that I assumed that you would.
No.
But it's an interesting observation.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I thought, all the pain he caused, like, you would think that in my magical thinking at some point, I would be like, oh, what if he just died and left me all this money? Or what if he, No,
because you wanted a living version of him that would love you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so even in my magical thinking, I would rather him be alive and presently rejecting me than him die and me not have the opportunity.
Yeah. Because there was always a possibility to
the
be
hope was always there.
And the hope, and just like needing to find the knight in shining armor, needing to, it's all of those pieces. And, as you were saying that, I thought about my grandmother, who I loved, was very close with, and she had developed, as she got older, a dementia. And it really grabbed hold of her hard. And so by the time she struggled and fought for years. And so by the time she passed away, it was interesting because there was this piece, because she was struggling, and she had been she had not been herself for a long, long time. And it's like,
Right.
looking back, I realized to really find healing, I had to mourn her more than once. I needed to
Yeah.
rewind back to like a version in the past that, like, I lost my grandmother, like who she was a long time before that. Like, I couldn't, like, because unfortunately, when dementia grabs hold, she had seasons of anger, and she had seasons of, like, she was not her. And looking back, it's like, I needed to mourn the ideal of who she was. And then again, I had to mourn
Yeah.
losing her. And it's almost like and then let me say this, let's say it this way. And then when I learned to mourn both of those things came together, and I could actually fully mourn the loss of this person that
Right.
I loved. And so the situation is, very, very different. But looking at, you had been mourning for years, one part of it, and then now it brought these two pieces together,
Yeah.
because he had always been absent, but now he was truly absent in
Right.
some ways, and it reconciled those. And I don't know that like fully makes sense.
It makes
But I
sense
think,
to me,
but I
totally.
think it reconciled two things. Not that it was what you wished for, but it allowed for a closure that makes more sense.
Right. For the first time, it makes sense.
Yes.
He's gone, so he can't want me. But for 40 years, it was he's gone because he doesn't want me.
Yeah.
And my mourning process was constant.
Yes.
With there's this idea of stepping off the front porch, this idea of stepping off the front porch, that every time you come to a different part of your life, you have to reevaluate, right? So like when you're 5 and you've never been to kindergarten or whatever, you go to kindergarten, you see people with 2 parents, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, why don't I have a daddy, right? And then you get your abstract thinking skills, and you have to do that again, because now it's like, oh, there is something behind the wall, right?
Yeah.
And so you're thinking differently. And then you go to middle school and you're thinking differently. You go to high school, and then I had kids, right? And then I had kids, and I'm like looking at my children going, how can you not want your child?
Yeah.
Even now to this day with absent fathers, and I don't understand how you can not want to be in your child's life.
And so now this porch moment that you're talking about, I'm sure that it was like, how hated must I have been because you can see, it's like, we often think of love and hate and as being opposites, but it's really, it's love and it's indifference. Indifference is really the true. And so like, but how much to make this pendulum swing from this extreme love that I feel to my children to the extreme absence that I experienced, right, in my father. It's like, I can't imagine trying to reconcile in your mind what could cause that deficit.
Yes.
Like,
what did I do?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
I mean, that has been a question that I've had lingering my entire life.
Yeah.
What is wrong with me?
Yeah.
What is so wrong with me? What is wrong with me? I can't do enough. I can't be enough. I can't try enough. I can't sacrifice. No matter what I did, I can't beg enough. I can't cry out to God enough, thinking that he's not listening when I'm going, why can't he love me? Why can't he? And I had those moments. Like I grew up in church. I had a Bible very young. Like I had these moments with God at a very young age of why.
Yeah.
That was always my question, was why?
Mm-hmm.
It was not, when are you going to bring him back, or how is it going to, it was, why is he gone?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he want me? Mm-hmm. What is so awful about me? And until I got to the point where I just resolved that everything was awful about me.
Yeah.
Everything was awful about me. The way I looked, how much I weighed, I didn't have enough talent, I wasn't good enough, and it just was this constant self-talk, because that's the only thing that could make sense to me.
Yeah.
If I was hateable, then that makes sense why he wouldn't want to be around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting the way our minds work. It's because we would rather something make sense, even if it means throwing ourselves under the bus or assassinating ourselves in our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because if it can make sense, well, maybe then I can do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, if it's my weight or if it's my whatever, well, I can do something about
Yeah.
that. And it's like Band-Aid, 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 Band-Aid,
Yeah.
realizing that it can never fix
Never.
this festering wound. And so I know your faith played a huge part in this journey. You've just kind of touched on it. But I know something that I love about your story is that it wasn't just because God shows up. It's so interesting. It's not like God's like, why haven't you received this yet? Why don't you get this yet? Why don't you, like, he so meets us where we are. And I think part of that in your story, what I see knowing your story is how God provided, like, put Michael in your life.
Yes.
To show,
Yes.
you know, because there's, of course, spiritual moments, but you kind of mentioned before, you were like, I needed the knight in shining armor. And I don't think that's necessarily like how all the pieces came together in this instance. I think that's how you were hunting before, but how God was like, okay, like, here's a tangible, I want to bring these pieces together. And so can you just, for a minute, just let's talk about as you started to, well, let me ask this question because they may feed into each other.
Sure.
Like, what did it look like to start building a new story?
Like with Michael, you mean? Or just
It
in
can
general?
go,
Or with...
I know Michael's a part of that.
Sure.
And so let's go, like, as you began to write a new story,
Mm-hmm.
just what did that look like? Like, what would you say? Like, okay, so you're going to write a letter to, like, we're going to
Sure.
read the letter you wrote. You're writing a letter to somebody in this situation.
Yeah.
Like, what are you, like, step one? Well, you're going to start rebuilding a new story.
Yeah.
What's step one?
Yeah, I think that in rebuilding my story, I definitely had to understand. So, okay, I'm sorry, I'm thinking.
No, I kind of caught you off guard because I was like, let's go this direction.
Yes.
And then I just was like, left turn.
That's okay. That's okay. So a big part of rebuilding my story was just understanding that I needed healing. I always, I'd go to counseling, but it was to fix something. It was like, oh, Tiffany.
Symptom.
Yes. Like Tiffany doesn't go to school. Like, let's go take her to counseling so that she, will actually show up to class, like, let's fix this thing in her. And so I always thought that I needed fixing.
Yeah.
But fixing is not healing.
Well, and fixing is the assumption that something's broken.
Right. Which is what I felt my whole life.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think understanding when I had my first ministry job, I had this great, amazing mentor who I love and everybody loves, and her name is Miriam. And she introduced me to this idea of healing, that if you give God the brokenness, then he can come in and he can do something with it. And so I think for me, that was the first step. Yeah. It was being open to that idea.
And and I just want to pull back something you had said earlier, because you were talking about how you in so many ways took ownership of like, well, must I be so hated? Mm-hmm. And so when you take ownership of it, it's like you grab it and you bring it close.
Yeah.
It must be my appearance. It must be my weight. It must be, and you're just bringing those things in. And as you own those things, you're holding on to them and you can't hand them to God.
Yeah.
And it can seem like humility, like, no, I take ownership or I do whatever. And it's like, no, you have to be willing to take those broken pieces that you've held close because it helps make things make sense.
Sure.
And hand those to God.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly difficult.
It is.
Anytime letting go of control of anything, even ugly things, can be incredibly difficult.
Yes. And then also because I would have to admit that I wanted it.
Oh.
If I opened all of these wounds, I would have to admit that I really wanted my dad in my life. And
you have spent your life putting yourself out there like that.
Yes.
And then learning to kind of bury it in so many ways. How incredibly just terrifying and
vulnerable. And I hated my humanity for so long. Wow. All the things that I needed as a human. Why am I weak? Oh. Why am I, why do I want my dad? This is so stupid.
Feels needy.
It feels needy, right? I don't want to be that needy girl. Like I very much
one of the guys.
Yes, I very much prided myself on that.
Yes.
Like I am not needy. I'm independent. I don't need anybody. I can carry my own things and I can hang out with the guys and be the cool one and you don't have to give me anything and it's fine. And
I got it.
Yeah. Especially as a single mom. Then I'm a single mom with 2 kids and I really got it, right? Because I have an ex-husband and they're ex-husbands for a reason. And so it's like, so now I have all of this and I have layers and layers and layers. Like, how did I get my ex-husband? How did I get to that place? Well, because I've been rejected my whole life. How did I get here? Because, I've been rejected my whole life. And so just laying that on the table and saying, you know what? I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah, this is exhausting.
I'm freaking tired, man.
Yeah.
I'm freaking tired.
And so it brought you, it looked like, starting to build a new story was like that first step was just being like, okay, these broken parts that I've held close for so long.
Yes.
I have to be willing to hand those to God and to see what he's willing to do with them.
Yeah.
Did I capture that well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And so how did your husband impact your sense of being wanted or chosen?
So Michael is, like I said, we've been married 22 years and he is like my grandfather in that he's steadfast, like just so steadfast.
I just wanted that statement to end. My husband is so much like I don't know.
He's so much like my grandfather.
They're exactly. He is my grandfather. Yeah. It's like, man, that's like the most hillbilly, like.
Welcome to Arkansas.
Welcome.
No, but you know how they say that, right? Like you marry somebody like your dad, or you marry somebody like, that there's like a lot of similarities there. And so he's that, right?
Sorry, I just had this like shocking moment.
What?
Oh my gosh. My husband and my granddaddy. Oh my goodness gracious.
I'm telling you, it's true. It's true.
It is and it is the same thing. It is a still kind of like, it is a steady kind of love.
A steady kind of love.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Dang, girl.
And
it's
so,
like, okay, in our similarities, isn't it so funny? Like that's the parallel of like, oh my gosh, that makes so much, sorry, I've just derailed everything.
That's
and now
okay.
I'm just
no, you're fine.
having a moment over here.
I know.
Anyway.
It's crazy though.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. Like my husband's very much like that, very steadfast, very problem solving, very, practical, very, all of these things. And so he, I think one of the things that he has taught me is to fight for things. Like he has always chosen to fight for me.
Wow.
Even in our most difficult times. And I've never had that.
No.
I've never had a man in my life who has chosen to fight for me. And it, I was thinking about this too, like even because I was in ministry, like full-time ministry in some capacity for like almost 18 years.
Yeah.
And in ministry, you're around a lot of men. I mean, that's just
it's a very
male dominated.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's just the reality.
Outside of like children's ministry areas a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I've had opportunity to have like older men that could mentor me.
Yeah.
But then the complexity comes because I'm a woman. Yeah. And so
it's just a lot of, and if you're somebody who's listening and that just absolutely doesn't make sense, it's like, you'll see this in all kinds of stuff, but in the church especially, it's like men and women, hey, you're not going to want to have like
intimate, super intimate, close
is a better word. Yeah.
Close, not
close
intimate like that, but like,
because, and then there's something that people refer to, it's like the Billy Graham rule. Like Billy Graham would never be in any space alone with a woman, just to like, and there is something that is like so intentional and has such, like there's such great integrity in being like, you know what, I am going to make sure I do not put myself in a situation where I may err or put somebody else in a situation, or maybe even it's like have the appearance of like, I get the intent.
Yes.
It harms women in so many ways, and we won't even get, because they don't have those opportunities for mentorship, because they don't have the opportunity, men primarily being most pastors are men.
Yes.
And so now you're creating a barrier between women being able to really like receive like that kind of pastoral care and things like that, on and on and on. And so it can be very difficult to have, I mean, I navigated that world for for a really long time. I'm very fortunate to have very close friends who are men, and like but doesn't mean there weren't like, of course, boundaries. But anyway, you can just see like there's no quick and easy, like, well, always have or just do it like this. No, like
no.
If you've lived in it, you understand.
And there was complexity in that because
it's complex for women. Often it's not complex for men because they can just be like, well, you know, whatever. Yeah.
Complex for women. Yeah. And especially me, because I have two men in particular in my life that I felt like were really pouring into me in a way that was edifying me and like healing these parts.
Yeah.
But then they're cut off because I'm a young woman, you know, and I understand it.
And they can be really great, healthy relationships.
Yes.
It is so complicated.
Because
anybody that thinks it's super concrete, like if you think it's concrete, you haven't lived it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like, you know, the Bible talks about brothers and sisters in Christ. Well, I want to have brothers in Christ.
Yes.
I wanted that mentorship. And these, you know, one of the men in particular, he was like what would have been my father's age.
Yes.
And he's, you know, speaking into me and pouring into me and giving me wisdom, but it can only go so far, right?
Of course.
You know, it can only go so far. And so then you have romantic relationships. Romantic relationships with
not with the same people.
Just no. Yeah.
Complicated.
Thank you.
We've already said this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to move on from that and we're going to now go into my relationship with my husband, which he has been fantastic, but it's also romantic, right? So there's a different aspect to that than there would be otherwise. But he has always chosen, because we've been through some stuff, like that's like a whole season of podcasts we could do, but we've been through some stuff, but he's always chosen to fight.
Yes.
He's always chosen to stay.
Yes.
He's always chosen he has been fantastic in letting me do whatever that I want to do.
Yeah.
Because he trusts that the things that I want to do with my life I'm going to follow God's leading in my life. And so he's like, you want to be a photographer? Go be a photographer.
Yeah.
You want to start a podcast? Start a podcast. You want to write? Go write, Tiffany.
Yep.
Do whatever you want to do. I believe in you. And so his slow patience with me has very much mirrored God's patience with me throughout my entire life.
Yeah.
Because God has been very patient. Like, okay, Tiff, you go figure this out on your own.
Yeah.
When you're ready to come back, I'm going to be right here.
Yeah.
You know? And so my relationship with my husband has definitely been that heaven on earth moment for me of even when you mess up, Tiff, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's nothing that you can do that I'm going to say you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. And I love that. And I love, because often in romantic relationships, it can feel like there's this, like, there's a conditional element where people get divorced, right? But you always have a dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've had the opportunity, it sounds like, to experience where I think some folks could be a little bit more flippant about marriage. Not everybody.
Yeah.
Not everybody. And you know, difficult moments, all of those things aside, but it's so beautiful that you have somebody. It's not like a role reversal necessarily, but somebody that's like, I will fight.
Yeah.
And that in a lot of ways has, I don't want to be like, your husband's like your dad, but there's a beauty there of of where there wasn't, like, you know, anyway, there's a significant beauty there.
It's a protection and a nurturing that I never got.
Yes.
It's a protection and a nurturing and it has brought tremendous healing to me.
There is a characteristic of God that is, you know, he says he is a jealous God.
Right.
And we think about that wrong, I think, in a lot of ways, because that jealousy is a protection of what is just absolutely most precious and most dear. And it goes beyond just like, there's not a condition to it. It's almost like covenantal. Is that a word? And
it is now.
It is. Boom. And I love that it's like Michael has, or like we're called to follow and we're called to follow Jesus and grow near to God, and just one day at a time, one step at a time, just to become a little bit more and more like him and to walk nearer and nearer, right? So we should be surrounding ourselves with people who just reflect God's character. And I love the way that Michael in this way does reflect his character.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Jealousy is not the right word, because it just means something so different to us than just that protection of what is most dear.
Yes. Yeah. And so, I'm grateful. And as I'm getting older, I'm even more grateful for that, as we're kind of like through, we've pushed through the raising of the children and all of the things. And so now we're just kind of left with each other, and I'm really seeing it more than ever. Just like, oh, wow, through all of these seasons of life, you have said, Tiff, I choose you. And I've never had anybody do that in my life. Yeah.
And you saw that in God too. I think in seeing that in Michael, you began to see some of how God would fight for you or fights for you. It's like a part of it. It's like you had this tangible example.
Yes.
That kind of maybe, I feel like hearing your story, that illuminated and unlocked something to understand how God is that Father.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and that's, and even though I still wrestle with the idea of God as Father, because I don't understand the word Father.
Yes.
I'm still, and I think I'll always wrestle with that.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it. Whereas before it was something that divided me, or something that kept me from my relationship with God, or my mindset was, oh, well, I'll never understand you as Father because I don't know what a father is.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, okay, keep teaching me. Keep teaching me. Keep showing me your provision. Keep showing me what a father does.
Yeah.
Keep showing me, I'm a creative, I'm an artist, like just learning the idea that God like enjoys the fact that I want to create.
Yeah.
And then I'll get a vision of like, a dad like watching his little girl color, like, you know what I mean? And so it's like, I'm having to learn these things, but the thing that God has been is he's been there.
Yeah.
There has never been a moment that I can look back and not see God's hand, even if it was just like, Tiff, you're going to have to get through this. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You're just going to have to get through it. Like, I can't make anything happen. I can't force this situation.
Yeah.
And so just knowing that he's always just, I'm here. We're going to figure this out. We are going to not you're going to figure this out. But we're going to figure this out. Like, we're like, I got this. So just the steadfastness of God.
Yeah.
And then how it's been reflected in my marriage is just been such a beautiful picture.
It unlocked and illuminated.
Yeah. Unlocked and illuminated.
I love that.
Yeah.
So just knowing your story, there's a piece of it, that a statement that brings so much of it together for me as far as your story. And it was something kind of spoken over you. And I'm curious if you see this as like bringing all these pieces together. And so do you mind sharing, you said a pastor had spoken these unique words over you a few years ago that I just want you to highlight.
And, It was actually just probably about 4 or 5 months ago. And I'm just in this place where I'm just trying to, like we talked about earlier, like just in this new season of life. And so I'm trying to find these things. And it's somebody that I worked with years ago, like 8 years ago at a church. And she prayed over me and she said, I just want you to know, Tiffany, that you belong. God wants you to know that you belong, but you don't fit in. And I didn't create you to fit in. And when she prayed that over me, I literally felt a weight come off of me, because that's what I've been doing. I've confused belonging and fitting in. And they're even at my age, 48, I've been still wrestling with that and trying to figure that all out. And so for her to say that to me, and I believe it was prophetically, I believe it was directly from God, to release me from this idea that I have to find my place, because the reality is I already belong.
Yeah.
Like God's like, you belong to me.
Yeah.
And that's enough, right? And the fact that you don't fit in is actually your superpower.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In
Yeah.
so many ways.
Yeah.
I know when I've felt like in an isolated place, you were somebody who was like, nope, that's okay. Like you don't have you don't have to fit in. Like anyway. And I just love that statement for you because, you know, you talked about how, you know, let's rewind back to you being 19 or 18 and finding that paper. And it's like, wait, there's no man that like wants me or wants to be my father. And you lived in a world surrounded by people with fathers. I didn't fit in. And you can see these different phases of your life where you've strived to fit in.
Yes.
With this kind of just this big piece, and belonging is something that is so beautiful because it goes beyond fitting in.
Yes.
It's fitting in is, you know, it's like Brene Brown says this well. It's like fitting in is being like everyone else, but belonging is belonging everywhere. Belonging is being accepted for who you are exactly as you are, which is the way that God loves and accepts you, which is the way that Michael loves and accepts you and fights for you.
Right.
And it's like I see this like armor falling off of you as you were able to let go of what the world and what even you believed the ideal was, to God showing you like, okay, yeah, in those deficits, not anything God ever wanted for you, I'm confident.
Right.
But in those deficits, do you understand that you've always belonged?
Always belonged.
Always belonged.
Yeah.
And I love that statement because it speaks so much to who you are. You weren't made to fit in.
I was not made to fit in.
You were not made to fit in.
And it's okay.
Yes.
You know, it's where at one time that was the worst thing in the world, is not fitting in.
Yeah.
Now not fitting in is the thing that drives me.
Yeah.
I know I'm not like everybody else.
Yeah.
And
that's amazing.
Yeah. And I think that finding that sense of belonging, right? I'm in this place where I'm really deeply trying to understand God as Father, like that Abba Father.
Yes.
Understanding heirship, understanding adoption, understanding all of these things, right? That make me belong.
Yes.
Even if I don't understand them, doesn't make that less true.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's such a powerful statement. Just because I don't understand them doesn't mean that it's not true.
Yeah.
Because isn't that like, if I don't agree with you, then you're wrong? No. Or just in our world, it's just set up that way.
It is.
And so, what's something that would surprise your past self?
That I've been married for 22 years.
That's awesome.
No, seriously, like I never thought I would have the staying power.
Wow.
And I'm, you know, it's like, you know, they'll say like, well, if you make it past 7 years, you're good to go. No. If you make it past 9 years, you're good to go. No. I mean, I know so many women my age who've been married 22, 25, 30 years, whatever, who are filing for divorce. Like I don't. And but to tell my younger self, you're going to find somebody that's going to partner with you. Yeah. Not going to fix you, but going to partner with you, and you're going to be with that person. Yeah. That would have been very shocking to me because I didn't do relationships well.
Yeah. That's awesome. No, that's, that makes so much sense.
Oh, and 5 kids.
5 kids, right? Just all these shocking things. And so we're going to jump into your letter, but like your letter is to you.
My letter's to me.
And so, but I want you to think about somebody that's in your situation, like, or similar. They've experienced fatherlessness, and I'm confident your letter is going to speak to them. But if you could just encourage somebody that has longed, whether their dad was present or not, you know, it's like that has been in that place of fatherlessness.
Right.
And what is it like? What you get 1 minute with them. Like, go.
I think it would be like you have permission to want a father. Like you have permission. You are free to desire that in the depths of your soul because you were created to be that way. Just because your dad screwed that up doesn't mean that you should want that less. And I just think the idea that if you allow that humanity in you and stop that self-protection and like really let God come in to that place and be like, God, you fill this for me, whatever that looks like. And it could be with a mentor. It could be with, your big brother and you have a better relationship now. And like you can feel some of that in you. But I think that if you put it in God's hands instead of trying to fix it yourself, if you allow yourself the freedom in your humanity to say, I was created to want my parents. I was created to want parents, to need them, to need that as my foundation. I just think that so many women beat themselves up for wanting that. And
that's just so incredibly beautiful because it allows you it's not me. I mean, like, this isn't like, I'm not needy. I'm not broken. Yes. I'm not whatever for wanting something that I don't have.
Yes.
This is how God created me.
Yes.
And acknowledging that.
You are not broken.
Yeah. You may have been broken.
Yeah.
But it is not your deficit that has caused this to happen, no matter what anybody says.
Yeah. It's not your fault.
Yeah. And it is okay.
There's nothing you've done, and it's okay. It's okay to want that.
Yeah. And that is not what I would have like expected step 1 to be. And it is so beautiful and painful. And I think life-giving. Yeah. And I think that can apply so many places in life. It is okay to want and acknowledge what's missing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you're good with it, I want to transition to your letter.
Oh, absolutely.
Unless there's something else you want to say.
No, except I love you.
I love you too. And I'm so grateful that you're here.
I'm grateful too. This has been good.
Yeah.
This has been good. And I just pray that it reaches the right ears.
Yeah.
To hopefully bring healing to any woman out there who has struggled. So many women struggle with fatherlessness.
Yes.
So many women struggle with it. And we whether it's from death or whether, I have one of my best friends, like her dad died when she was younger.
Wow.
We had similar issues growing up, you know, like, so there's just, I just really pray that anything that I said today will be something that God uses to bring, just illuminate and bring light into people's hearts so that there can be some healing.
Absolutely.
So
I love that I feel like you've done a wonderful job giving people permission to feel something that certainly I would want to avoid feeling.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, let me put my glasses on because I'm, got an old lady all right, here we go. Hey girl, hey. You are 5, you are 15, you are 19, you are 24, you are 29. Your whole existence so far has been confusing for you. You have searched and searched to never find answers to questions you don't even know how to ask. All you know is that you feel invisible. Every day you feel the weight of the wondering why you were so unlovable and unwantable. I want to rescue you from that. I want to take that away from you, but it will be something you have to journey through. I promise that you are not alone. In your quiet space, while you weep to a God you feel isn't listening to you, you will find him. He is there because he is weeping with you. This is not what he wants for you. This is not his plan. But he has made you and he knows you. He knows that you are strong enough to not just to endure, but to overcome. He knows that these moments will grow you into a compassionate, loving human who fights for justice, seeks his truth, and loves unapologetically. But most importantly, he sees you in every season, in every moment you compare yourself, or every time you question decisions you make in your life, even with every mistake you make where your motivation is rooted in rejection. God looks at you with love, never judging you for feeling pain, for longing for more, or for being human. In fact, this deep desire in you to feel loved is so that you can love more fully. And even if you had a dad, it is only God that can bring this fullness into your life. So take a breath and know that he doesn't just see you, he shines a great light on you. And someday this will be enough. It doesn't feel like it, but someday, knowing that you are valuable simply because you are the you he created, that will be enough. Be so proud of everything you are right now, even if it's sad and confused and unsure. All of this means you're a caring and kind person, and no pain you feel will go to waste. God will use it to create the space for people in your life to feel loved and accepted. You're doing just fine as long as you keep moving forward. Bring your grief with you in a cute little tote bag, because sorrow is a fertile ground for hope that is found only in Christ. You're pretty great just as you are. Be gentle with yourself. You are worthy. XOXO, Tiffany.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Everyday Truths podcast. Special thanks to Tiffany Crawford, who was on the episode today. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Now, if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed to the Everyday Truths podcast, wherever it is that you're listening from. And hop on and leave a review or comment. Whenever you do this, it goes a really long way to helping others get everyday truths into their lives as well. Next time, we're going to continue with another letter to me, another transformative story and letter to help each and every one of us, no matter what phase of our life we are in. And so, see you next time.